Good evening to welcome. I'm Afonso and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. To all our valuable listeners, followers across the globe, we say happy Thanksgiving in advance. Please pardon these big boys. I saved their life. Grindon Executive Clemency. I'm not sure that is happening because most of the oven, the stuffings, and all going to right now. There's a reason for which I'm taking you to the southeastern side of the Republic of Liberia, Grandunit. There's an interpretation to this song. I'm going to be playing the guest. I'm going to be playing the host here with a special guest. He's the president of the Liberian community. It's an entire Liberian organization based here in the USA. Whether you support, you agree or not, but by virtue of that position, he is the president. For we can agree and disagree. And the interpretation of this song say, "We are in your hands. We love for you. Are we in good hands?" These are minimal. These are things we're gonna. He just got to the presidency, Belly, maybe less than 2 or 3, 4 months or whatever it is. But we're going to get down to the bottom line of the issue here. Stay tuned. We're going to get this program going. Yes, you're going to be at a good conversation here. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so we want to say happy Thanksgiving to all our viewers, followers, listeners across the globe, wherever you are. For those of you here, Patient Jones, and of course, Madam Seba Harris, prime time, valuable listeners, we say happy in advance Thanksgiving Day. Who want to express some kind of take it out to me over there tomorrow? I put a challenge that bit out there to see who's gonna win it. I know one person can win it, but we're gonna have a conversation. A little bit, a lot of things happening right now, but we'll try to hang in there. Usually on Thanksgiving time, my late mother, she always, Liberia, USA, they are two different timing, but those days she will always want us to call and we'll offer that prayer. That seems not to be the case this time around. So that's another painful situation. But we have to do what we have to do, and we have to just keep courage and move on. And then the uncle passed again yesterday. Oh, what a double trouble. We pray for God divine interventions in these difficult times. Let's get the ball rolling. I'm Afonso and so my special guest here this evening is the president-elect Liberian Associations in the USA. President Shiwoh Kamara is joining me live from his headquarters. This year, there was an election held, it took place in, I believe, in Chicago, and that election brought President Shiwoh to the stage as presidents of the mother organizations right here based in the USA. But the conversation started all right here on the diaspora informative news outlet, Liberia Public Radio. His entire team, they were here. We had a conversation. He promised right after that, whatever the result going to be like, he was going to come back. Indeed, I was waiting to see. Because those guys, when they get on the airflow, that's the end of it. So I was waiting to see, giving time to set up his cabinet, his work, and things that he had to tell us after they sent it to the presidency of the union. But he proves me wrong. So let's see here this evening. I'm a first here, so let's get the ball rolling here. But there are a lot of things happening. One of our own in the second segment, Professor Asise was always been named as superintendent of the Moravia Consolidated School System. We're going to get into that, but let's take this one first. Okay, in a bit to keep the news proportional here, so let's give you a little bit historical background, how they started and where they have landed so far. I'm going to be bringing the president. I'm not sure whether this picture or these images are about to show it is his true picture or his true image. Let me just bring in this here first, and let's see how it all started. Ladies, good evening. So welcome on the Liberia Public Radio, and it's good to have you here. To do our audience a fairness, we'll start by intro, self-intro. If there's a specific or potential role you'll be playing, especially elected person, please also do that. If you're managing the campaign, it's also important to do that. Let me see here whether there are other folks here. Okay, Robert Reeves is also here. Let me bring Reeves here. Okay, let's start the ball here. Mr. Kamara showed presidential candidate who is kicking the ball up.
Well, I will start with.
Okay, I think Robert
Reeves is coming.
Reeves is having problem. Let me start. If I get his image, I will bring you out. I think the internet here. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, let's get a ball rolling here. I just want to make sure that that's the group there. But here he is. We're keeping track and making it proportional. Welcome, President Shiwoh Kamara of the Union of Liberian Associations in the Americas. Congratulations on your preferment of the big win. Thank you so much. My vice president is Columbus, Ohio. Wow, I took you to Chicago. Obama, that's the election. Okay, Mr. President, good evening and welcome back here as promised.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. So we really appreciate the invitation, and we promised, during the campaign that we're going to come back here, to have a chat with you and to salute you, for, to just ensure that we're living up to our promises. And first of all, I want to, express on behalf of the union, the work you've done as a member of the Elections Commission for, the passing of your loved ones. And we pray that their soul will rest in perfect peace. And, we really just, appreciate that you, always accommodate us here. And like you said, we're back here, like we promised you.
Okay. I'm wondering here, let me ask a rhetorical question. Suppose we're going to go that kind of way. You sure you're going to come back here?
I was still going to come back. I'm always a man of my word.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. President, thank you so much for coming here. Leadership starts from home. Most of the time, we talk about Liberia. You are a politician. You came from a war that they are great people in terms of school and all of that. And so the foundation starts from here. So we strongly believe here at LPR Conversation Show to start here to see the sort of leadership style. What these people, because I don't know your political mind, and you have the right to occupy and qualify to occupy any position in the country. Okay, so let's have a conversation here. How has it been? What is the experience being in the White House of Ulaa?
Well, I just want to, first of all, not digress to any of my, previous experiences, which can be enormous, to enumerate. But in the last 30 days, as we promised the Liberian people, this weekend,
Mhm.
this weekend on November 27th, we'll be hosting an immigration summit to just ensure that diaspora Liberians who are supposed to benefit for the Liberian uh, Immigration Act that was enacted by the government of the United States. These individuals will be able to uh, just, file their papers and make sure that they are not left out. Because as per the assessment that we have from the Ulaa end and the research we've done, is it indicates that you have a majority of Liberians who haven't filed their papers yet. So as we promised during the campaign, my leadership will be conducting an immigration summit this November 27, which is this coming Saturday. So additionally, the Ulaa White House, as you're asking, we've constructed our agenda in three folds: one, engagement; two, policy issues; three, rebranding, Ulaa. And the vice president of the union has been very instrumental in the engagement aspect. And one of those engagement aspects we has to do with advocacy will be constructed this weekend. Additionally, when you are asking us, Mr. So many, maybe 30, 40 days ago, you are so embedded in making sure that the union was constructive, the union was cohesive. So I'm proud to report to you that today, as we speak, North Dakota chapter is coming back on board. That was something that they wrote the former president and the former administration months ago, but we are sending a letter to recognize them. Also, the chapter in Jacksonville, Florida, is also coming on board. There's a chapter in Virginia that is coming on board. Your own chapter in Rhode Island. We haven't engaged them yet, but that is ongoing, and we're going to get there. Trenton in my own chapter. So all around in the Ulaa diaspora, I'm very proud to report, just in maybe 36 days' time, that the engagement process is going well. And we are reviewing the policies. We are ensuring that the union will be more cohesive and Liberian will be proud again. Also, I want to say to you that the dual citizenship is one of the critical issues. As of the 11th of November, the national legislature, in terms of the lower house, passed that bill. So we're encouraging all Liberians and doing every other thing to make sure that the Senate can also meet the concurrent of that bill. So that's where we are in terms of what we are doing in the White House of Ulaa.
Wow, that's a little over 30 days, over a little over 30 days. Those are some of the things that your office is being. Basically, okay, I don't usually praise politicians. It's not my style. That's not my job to do it because you guys, we hire you to work for us, whatever we voted for. voted again. But at the same time, we must also give you guys the courage and the motivation. All right, let's see here. We're gonna get to the cardinal issue here, but I usually in our library setting community, national and local level. After election, Mr. President, there's some sort of bitterness, resentment, dissatisfaction for whatever reason, which is a normal routine. Has you been able to reach out to your challenger and his supporters to solidify their position, to get to know that there are two things involving elections? You either win A or you lose it, even though it's very hard for people to accept the result. People only embrace the result when it favors them. That is natural in our African setting. But have you kind of send a spreadsheet out there to them to say, hey, the race is over. We need to do for Ulaa. Something like that has been done?
Yes. So let me just say this at a precursor. And the precursor is that I've never come to these races believing that if I don't win, and therefore, I bid out. So I think that our organizations, need to have the kind of leadership that will serve them well. And every time we go to elections, if one person wins, we celebrate and come back to build that camaraderie. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question directly, on September 20th, I did reach out to my ACT rival, Mr. Frank Carter. And these were my exact words, that the union is that organization that each of us, thrived to come and serve. So he, in many capacities, has served that union. So I was reaching out to him to just say to him that the union won. So inviting him to play whatever role he wanted to play within the union. And Mr. Carter of that date, he was, I think, on a teleconference. I don't know what he was doing, but I did reach out to him. Also, I did reach out to the former national president, Mr. Vamba Fofana, to indicate to him that he did his due diligence in terms of the leadership of the union. And I also reached out to the chairman of the board of directors. So, sir, to answer your question directly, I did reach out to all of the parties that needed to be reached out to, just to ensure that we have a cohesive union.
Okay. I think it's important that we talk this because I know I received a couple of phone calls, and not to relegate some old story here. And I did see a front page newspaper or some sort of, which of course is normal. But I think after these races, these contended elections, it's better to mend the fences so that we can have a solidified union. So it's better to have this sort of conversation to give you a fair share than just hear directly from yourself. Okay, let's get down to the issue here. This dual citizenship. We've been hearing this thing for long. When I send that post today, somebody questioned what Ulaa can do. Okay, that's a legitimate question, valid question, because part of that, people are just not informed. And I'm happy with the start of as your administration during the onset of this whole thing. You are contesting that you vowed to make use of the media to get the information here. I hope this will not be the start. What's the brightness? What's the future of this whole dual? We understand there's a town hall meeting pending, correct?
It is.
Spread this information. Is it gone out there, if not auto within the public domain? What is for? What sort of awareness and what is the goodness of this? Why should I attend the town hall? Where will it be held, for example?
All right. So let me just draw a little bit of contrast. So the town hall this Saturday appertains to the Liberian Immigration Fairness Act. Mm-hmm. That was the path that was created to ensure that Liberians who came here many years ago before 2014 could benefit from, just getting a green card. So where we are now is that a majority, from the research we've conducted, a majority of Liberians have not been able to file their papers. So that's one aspect of what this administration is doing. The other aspect that you're asking me very clearly is the dual citizenship. The dual citizenship has been a major agenda item of the union since 2012. We've gone through Proposition 8. We've gone through seeking, presidential, amendments or whatever it is. We've gone through other aspect of it. But currently, where we are is that we are happy to pronounce and announce to diaspora Liberians that, the lower house passed that bill on the 11th of November. And we are encouraging all Liberians to call the President pro tem, Chair, to call their senators to lobby so that that bill can be concurrent in the upper house. So it's a good news to report from our administration that at least for the first time, the lower house was able to pass the bill. Eminent Weti, who is the czar of the dual citizenship, was just in Liberia. And this is a guy who has, exercised all of his time to just make sure that the dual citizenship, passes. There are other partners all over the globe, the European Union, the Liberians in Ghana, and even Liberians in Liberia. We all are concentrating our efforts to ensure that the dual citizenship, benefits and passes in Liberia.
In Liberia, I can tell you, Mr. President, the bus stop is with you. We Liberians, we take credit when it's good. We all take credit, but when it goes bad, then we throw it on the leader. It's natural. That's the natural phenomenon of our leader. On this year, it's going to be historic in the sense that because when the upper house concur with the lower house and have this bill passed, then of course we are set. But for right now, I would say maybe it's on kind of a little bit life support because we don't know the decisions of the upper house, what's going to be their final. So let me ask you, how were you as a sitting president, and because everything is right on your shoulder, have you initiated conversation with folks, the guys, Capitol Hill there? Have you started some conversation with them? Ladies, gentlemen, this is consequential. This is not just only about you, it's for Liberia, for Liberians in and out, so that their voices will be heard. Have you started that conversation?
Definitely, sir. We've done exactly that, and it's not only I alone, but other members of our administration, and we encourage. So just so you know, the kind of leadership that I've amassed now for Ulaa, these are incredible individuals, people who have vast knowledge and contacts in Liberia. Some of them have personal relationship with senators, which is the upper house.
I want to, Mr. President, not to interrupt you. When you in your cabinet meeting, you can praise them, you can cheer them up.
But can I just finish? Can I just finish, Mr.
No, what I'm saying, I want to see the fruit of the labor. That's what I
got you. What I'm saying is that, first of all, if these kinds of the things we do, right, begins from within our own ranks and file. So if you have an administration who have contact with other individuals in the upper house or in the government, it makes sense. So I just wanted to make that that very clear. Beyond that, I've reached out to county organizations, the NIMA Association, UNICO, who is President Dan Dennis, who is very embedded in making sure that this administration succeed. The Sano County Association, and other country associations. So we are doing exactly what all of us have done in the United States, that you call your representatives, you make sure you contact them. So in simply put, sir, yes, I have done that, but I'm equally just in making sure that I conduct the mobilization to make sure that Liberians, this dual citizenship bill will pass.
Yeah, and because I have dealt with politicians a lot, and they are very slippery. They act like one. They tell you one thing today, the next thing they tell you, say, you know what, X, Y, Z has happened. Let me ask this question here: is there any timeline for the vote of this final decision making when it comes to the dual citizenship? And anybody has confirmed that with your office?
Definitely. So
Anybody?
I get a daily briefing, from Emineweti, who is a czar on the dual citizenship. He
Okay.
was appointed on I usually like to, be very quick with these dates, but he was appointed when I was inducted in Minnesota. So Emineweti briefs me every day. So our hope and expectation is that between now and December 18th, when the entire lower house and the legislature go on a break, we want to be able to give that shot. So one of the strategies is that, just so you know, that we are working on this very, very hard, is that eminent Wilmer Coney will be in Liberia. So the union is going to be supporting him at some point. If it becomes eminent, then the Union National President will join him, to make sure that we propound all of the things that need to be done, for dual citizenship.
Yeah. I wish I have my own executive way. I would say the president himself, because to be there and meet those people face to face. But what are you, Mr. President, what are you hearing now from the upper house in terms of the support? How does it look like? Do you get a sense of a good breathing space to say, okay, we are there. Maybe we need to catch up with 2, 3, 4 people to get this finalized. What is the status of it? Who's saying yes? Who's saying no? Who are the undecided ones? Do you have an idea exactly your target point in this sort of consequential mission that your administration? Because the thing about it here, at the end of the day, all other people, they have tried. But when Shiwoh Grant administration, they get a saying that say the raven is not to the sway, but he is endurance to the end. So this whole ball here is right on you. Do you know exactly people that are undecided or people to be the focus point? Do you know?
I can say this to you in one sentence.
Okay.
The bill has passed the lower house.
Mhm.
Representative Akara's Gray was the forerunner of that bill, and it passed overwhelmingly. The individual that we need to propound in terms of all of the pressure is our chair. The
How
president.
about you? That's the president of the Senate.
Yes, to make sure, the president pro tem of the Senate.
Yeah, the
Let him
president.
put that bill. Let him
Okay.
put that bill on the agenda of the Senate. Whether it passes, our hope is that it passes. But let us make sure that our chair put that bill on the agenda of the Senate. That is where we are. So there's a little bit of hiccup. And that's why I'm saying to you, some of the, I know you always say politicians and things. I'm not a politician. I'm a community activist. Let me just correct that.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. I'm a community activist. Most of my lifeline responsibilities and things that I've done is always I was standing on the side of ordinary people. So today, Liberians in the diaspora, whether Europe, Ghana, wherever we're from, there's two basic principles. One is that we didn't just want to come here, right? There was a push factor that brought us in this country. And today, as we contribute to the economy of the Liberian, the Liberian economy, and making sure our children are fed, making sure our children go to school, making sure that even the very economy is run, we cannot be deprived of that citizenship that we took from many years ago.
Okay. And
I'm sorry to be running you like that, sir.
No, that's okay. This is a very important conversation. These are the kind of conversation we should be having, and I'm glad that we are having this. So let me ask you this question. And usually, when the presider, the head of the group for bill to be introduced, you potentially wants to know which direction this person is moving, because that will give you a sense. Sometimes the whole file with the bill to make sure the required vote is there before they can put it on the floor for debate. Do you know what the pro tem, which way he leaning in terms of for or against? Do you have an idea? Has he made any disclosure to you? Because that would give us a clue. Yes, this guy gonna put it there, or he's not gonna put it there. Of course, if I'm just making a guess, if he's somebody that against the idea, I'm gonna put it in my suitcase and lock it up and not even carry it on Capitol Hill. Do you have an idea which way the pro tem leading with respect to dual citizenship?
I want to be a little bit cautious to just review to you some of the things I'm hearing, right, in high places. But the dual citizenship is in the House of the Senate. We think there are a greater support for senators. And all we're encouraging the President pro tem to do is to make sure that that bill is put on the agenda. That's how far I can go. I don't want to orchestrate whether to say that the senator, is not doing the right thing or is doing the wrong thing. I don't want to go there, because my view now, Mr. Zion, this is about lobby. This is about, influencing. This is about encouraging, each of the senators to vote for that dual citizenship. So, yeah, I don't want to be that critical. I don't want to criticize. I want to just draw that line very clearly.
I know, Mr. President, you will definitely take a diplomatic shift here this evening, but I'm also under obligation to keep my listeners and viewers here. So I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. This is very much important to me, and I'm quite sure to every Liberians. These politicians, they come here. You saw Joseph Boyka. I don't want to sound political, but it is a political issue, bottom line. Joseph Boyka was here. Joseph Boyka raised money, whether we know it, we know it, I don't care. Ellis Kuman here. Darrell Dillon can come here, Sir Joseph, and all of these people, they come here. When it comes to taking state power, they overwhelmingly get the support.
Yeah.
Liberians in the diaspora, anywhere, everywhere, people give money. But when it comes to taking some high call decision, then everybody develop leprosy finger. So where is Senator Sir Joseph standing? Where is Senator Nyombli Kanga Lawrence standing? Where is Senator Darius Dillon, the Highlander in the House? Where is he standing? Prince Johnson, all of these people. We need to know where they are when it comes to this here, because they are, I would say, deal breaker. Have you had an opportunity to talk to any of them, or what are you hearing from the special envoy with this process here, Eminent Wetty?
My response to that is that I definitely agree with you that individuals come here from Liberia and pursued our support for their candidacy. I was at the rally in Philadelphia with Ambassador Joseph Boakai. I was invited as Ulaa president. This coming weekend, I'm also invited, but due to previous engagement, the vice president of the union, Madam Minerva Grant, your former boss, will be representing me because I already had a previous engagement. Okay. The point I'm trying to make is that I agree with you that yes, people come and rally our support. But when it comes to the pivotal point, that point that diaspora Liberians, particularly the dual citizenship, then we have a whole, ball game. So I can say to you that, well, Nyomli Kanga, Prince Johnson, and all of the senators, what my job is to encourage, for example, Dan Dennis to talk to his senator, to encourage other, which Dan Dennis is doing anyway, and many other county organizations. In that way, we're going to bring together the kind of result that we desire. So I don't want to go, through naming individuals and things. Then it becomes convoluted. Convoluted, of course, then you drift from the whole issue. But we need to make sure that, yes, this diaspora thing and the dual citizenship, sir, we all can put our hands together and get it achieved and done.
Yeah, for me, I'm not a really good friends to politicians. We can be friends today and tomorrow we can be friends because they just do not like the truth. The reason you see Joe mentioned right here now is the guy who is holding up. And so people are going to love it. People are going to go to him. People got to be persuasive and not really in names calling. That sort of type of propaganda thing. That's not really my sense of argument here this evening. But so we will know people. We will know these people as well. We need to know. That's why I'm not a favorite of giving money to these politicians when they come here, because if our politics is all about interest. If I give you money, I must have something in return that I want, that I want, but I gave you and you want to deny me. I don't know how practical that's it. But as far as you are concerned,
Can I just say one thing, sir?
Mhm.
Can I? All right. So one of the things that your platform is one of the widely listened to, platform in the diaspora in Liberia. I watched you. You got people on the grounds and everything else. I would just encourage you, sir, that let our senators, if you are for dual citizenship, let them just make sure that they support this process.
Okay.
That's what we have.
Do me a name. I mute the microphone. The whole public is not hearing me. Those who are against, send their name to me and let me just do the work.
Yeah, right.
Let me do it. Okay, so okay, yeah, let's go back to this town hall. But this is it will be a historic one.
It
So
is.
all of our neighbors, they are having us. So why can't we? I don't know whether they have done a case study. So why can't we? I don't understand, because that's part of the democratic process. So I don't doing it. All the other people doing it. What is not working there that they think it would be so much of something? But let's go back to this immigration eye.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so it has to do with people with status, document expiring, something. Is that the case?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
okay, talk to people that are listening to us now. There are some people who have a variety of issues with their status, and other people decide to hold up too, because when they talk to other people, people don't help them. They take in and blow it. The next thing, when they somebody make flower tomorrow, oh, that one he not even get paper. Hold that one. So it makes it very difficult that I'm drowning. I'm in desperation. I should turn to the community leadership. I should turn to people, brother, sister, or somebody to help me. But we Liberians, for the most part, not all, we are in the sort of crack kingdom society where we pull down our people. What have you done to what is the mechanism that you have put in place that if I, Alfonso So, have issue with my paper, is about to expire, maybe I'm on the edge now of something, what is the committee that should be contacted in Ulaa that yes, whatever I say to them, that confident that it will be confirmed in. I will not hear the next day on Facebook somebody putting my name up there because maybe in 2 3 days time my paper will be it will be expiring. Is there any specific committee responsible for this?
Yeah, you actually just asking the most important question. When I was running for Ulaa leadership, I was promising deliverables, and some of these deliverables are the things that have come to just express to the Liberian people. So yes, today I can say to you that on November 27, 2021, there's a virtual immigration summit. We want Liberians to participate. That virtual summit is being headed by the National Executive Vice President, Madam Minerva Grant, and the Eastern Regional Vice President, all the Eastern Regional Vice Presidents. So that is a beginning point. Also, I just wanted to emphasize that all of us know that over 2 decades ago, when Liberians in mass in Washington, D.C., and many other places, other people took their time off work and went and talked to their senators. I was also involved in most of those engagements, even here in my own state of Pennsylvania. All of those efforts have culminated into where we are today, that Liberians are able to get a green card. So we are encouraging them. Forget about whether somebody going to be, say a gossip about you, your neighbor, your friend, and things like that. But I really don't want people to say, you know what, I don't have the money. If you don't have the money, come to that immigration summit. Maybe you'll get some answers. But my experience is this, that even in my own local, chapter here, when there were time for people to assemble, at the time we had DED, the very people who were affected went to work. And those who had, green card and all of that status, correct, were the one who were, canvassing for them. We don't really want that. It's very, very critical. After December 20th, if you don't file your paper by then, I'm not sure whether it's going to be extended. I talked to one of the experts yesterday, and he said maybe it's going to be extended. We don't know, but we want for Liberians to take advantage of it.
Okay, I see the tweet here coming, I believe, from in the bare wheel of the administration. We have a very confidential team committee that have been been working extremely hard to deliver to the committee. And I see here the vice president is also tweeting. Let's just all call all our senators, and if that support the dual citizenship will do it, and those that are not supporting may come on board. So yeah, you will get all the resources and who can trust. You can trust to talk to here. That's the vice president. I believe the administration seems to be on course with this one here. But I can, so it's an open box. We should call our senators and ask them. And I'm going to kick it off tomorrow. I'm going to call my 2 senators from my county.
Please do.
Yeah, I'm going to call them. I'm going to call. Hopefully, they pick up my phone call. If they don't, I will come back here and tell them.
Send them text too. It's, their WhatsApp. They're very good at answering the WhatsApp.
I don't know many. They know media. But certain time when you call them, what a man calling me again for. But the good thing WhatsApp, when it's delivered, when the message is delivered, when they read it, you will see that indicator. Here it comes.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna call them.
Thank you.
That's okay. But where would this virtual? There are others who might not be able to attend. What becomes of those who? It's a virtual. You say it's a virtual. How do they?
It's a virtual summit, and
also how can they participate?
The information is actually being circulated, and my vice president, is very pompous on this, and Alpha Tonga and the rest of the leadership team. It's really being circulated all on Facebook, on Ulaa, Ulaa Facebook, app and everything else. So, it's well circulated. And the other thing we're also doing, sir, is that we have reached out to most of the, community presidents, to just share this link with their people to participate. And so, even the ambassador of Liberia in the United States is going to be participating. The Consul General, Mr. Justin George in Minnesota, and the immigration officer is going to be participating. So we really have worked hard on this, and we want our people to take advantage of it.
Yeah. I know my two state senator, Jack Reed, Davis Cicilline, they are huge supporters of when it comes to the Liberian isolation policies or anything that is good for the country. I mean, pretty well they are good. Okay. This conversation is about to get more serious than we thought.
Wow.
I'm gonna break that in a few minutes. Okay, so all right, I think that's a good thing here. It's a very good conversation here. How aggressive your administration? One of the reasons our even on the national level is the lack of the disseminations of information because people who don't know, we have so much of outlets, networks. Some are for entertainment, some are propaganda, some are basic, concrete information sharing. So it becomes a challenge to the ordinary person that who can determine where to find the source of a real information. All right. So how aggressive your administration will be in making sure to get glued to the media to get here because the more you get closer to the media in terms of information sharing, the better it becomes because they're going to hear it from all angles and not necessarily from your leadership. But let's see here. I told you this conversation is about to get more serious than it is. Let's take a quick break and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm Alfonso Zia, Salt of the Liberia Public Radio, Lpr-Tv, New England Bureau Desk, joining this conversation at this time from Saxton, Sacramento, is LPR, the only liberal, I'm not sure whether you're liberal, Mr. President, but I don't know. But the most liberal on this network, Samson Bloku Branto, is here. I can't guarantee anything. But he's a conciliatory guy. He always like to sort of softball question here. So probably you guys are gonna be a good fight. Let me bring in the liberal from California, Saxton, Sacramento. The liberal, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Soul. Thank you very much, and I hope that we were having a good time on this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President, for joining us and giving us this wonderful, wonderful information. These are some of the things that some of us have been gravitating towards. You people, and I mean the leadership from Ulaa. These are things that are supposed to be happening in our community to disseminate information. You don't have to take. They give water to the cow. All you have to do is take it to the water side and see if the cow gonna drink, and you have done your job. And I think we truly appreciate it. And I hope that the folks back home, they come over here begging for people to support. They know we don't have no vote, but they come here and ask us to support them financially. They come here and ask us to support them because you have the means of calling your relatives back home. Because if you call relative back home and say, I support this person, support them, the fact that you send 1 or 2 cents to them, that becomes like a pawn as far as I'm concerned. And so your relative will listen to you. But once these people get in a position, they tend to take you like an enemy or whatsoever. So it's up to them. It's on them. You've done your job. When they come here, you don't shy away from them. You mingle with them. You have conversation of interest of the Liberian diaspora as their leader. And so if these people are not able to hear the warning and want to play deaf ear, it's up to them as well. All I can say to you is thank you very much, and we appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the commendation. I appreciate it.
It seems this liberal is going to be on your side here because I'm about to kick him out now. He's going to come here so quick to start looking in the direction of the president. Yeah, liberal. As a matter of fact, you're quite correct. You know, one of my co-workers is a Nigerian, right? He told me this thing, Mr. President. Nigeria had a sort of sticker issue that we are in. You know what they did?
Yeah.
Citizen rate for Liberian people, you and they can't keep banana. Oh, today, oh yeah, we keep banana. They met with Pabi. I mean, you and I, banana, and I be ready to go so and say, oh, rack it.
Wow.
Yeah, aggressively. This, yeah, the country they were denying the same, they do citizenship. They aggressively pursued that. Maybe you have heard that story, and even the group that in UK. I'm not saying that what we should do now, but strong language, strong actions, also produce result.
Yeah.
To the extent that they say, you know what, for this reason, we are not allowing any Nigerian people come here. This is what we will stop everything. And they came to themselves. And the UK people, the back then, but Liberian people, all our thing is in talking.
Right.
This is overdue. To be honest, this is overdue. And I know you are in a seat where you have to play a diplomatic role. You are like a piece of cloth between the scissors. But we will do our due diligence to know who for and who against. And we have to call these people out. You can't come here and take tons of dollars here. People pack all mattresses, you carry it, and then when time comes, you want to be politically correct. They're in America there because the people want to take job. Is that just about job? They don't know the professionals that are here that can go and contribute. We don't need to really beg this thing here. We need to come to a table and have a real conference and see how we can move our country forward.
So if I may speak, sir, I just want to visit what you just said, and thank you, sir, Mr. To. I like the commendation you just made. Yeah, definitely. So first of all, in terms of representation, like Mr. To said, I would like to have a regular, issues with the president of Ulaa, so that nobody contradicts, what Ulaa is doing. I think it's about time that Ulaa is fully represented in all facets, whether, the economy, whatever issue it is, the Ulaa president needs to be visible. And I really want to try to do that as much as possible. And thank you, Mr. So, for hosting me, and something for also hosting, me for the first time that we promised. Also, is that one of the things I don't shy away from is that I ran for this position is not a pay position, but my background many years ago as an ordinary student, top my high school, and of course into the teachers union and everything else, doing all these advocacy role, it brought me a credential, and that credential is what I want to exert, for Ulaa. I'm not going to shy away from anything that is policy-wise, any issues that has to benefit the Liberian people in the diaspora and our homeland. I committed myself to that. I took that oath of office to ensure. So I'm not shying away from anything that I have to say. The only reason why I'm speaking the way I'm speaking tonight is that I want to make sure that all of our efforts are brought to bear to ensure that we have a dual citizenship bill before any other issues.
All right, the liberal.
Yes, well, I think
You are following this. Yeah. Before you come here, I would say you've been traveling here. You've been around for a while now. This whole Ulaa thing is right in your palm. You're from New York, Canton, the Milton, TIG. Then fighting took place other places here and there. Now we got to up the lower house. Pass this bill here. What are your prospects when it comes to the upper house here? What are you hearing from your end?
Well, Mr. So, I mean, like I said, and you correctly stated, I've been around Ulaa's situation for a very long time. And some of us thought that, in fact, just a few months back, I took Ulaa to tax here on my own show, saying that Ulaa has got his usefulness behind itself. I thought Ulaa supposed to be like the umbrella organization for all Liberian section organization, county organization, everything else. And I also believe that because of their inept behavior of Ulaa that I thought of, because of their inept behavior, not this president's administration, because we can see clearly here tonight that the president is at work. And because of that, I believe these section organization, these county organization, these decided to go away from Ulaa and only gravitate towards their own section and county, which of course, Ulaa it doesn't have a company to say they have a stock market here and there. They depend on donors from each of these membership or member state or whatever category they have set how to govern themselves. But it depends on funds coming from each person, each of these members to be able to function properly. And so I thought with Ulaa is falling behind the way I see it was a problem. But with this kinds of information coming from the president here tonight, I think the president will do himself a good favor and in the favor of all member, Ulaa member, to have these kinds of engagement. Not necessarily on Liberian Public Radio, but any other radio station or platform that is willing to take you, Mr. President. You have a good message. You have a good message, and that message not only is geared towards Liberia and the politicians in Liberia, but the fight itself. You have to make that fight stay here, not necessarily in a negative form, but to inform the Liberian diaspora what is at stake with this dual citizenship issue. There are many Liberian diaspora that still don't understand exactly what this is. So you have a lot of work to do, to be honest with you. And I think you're on the right track. However, we also have to understand the Liberian politicians, they're playing games with this whole thing here. When Dallas Dillon, who is mine, remember now, I'm a member of Liberty Party, and Mr. So I just send you my membership card this evening, and I bet you have it on file. So when I say I'm a member of Liberty Party USA, I'm not fooling around. You have my membership card now. So I know sooner or later you're going to post it. But besides that, Mr. President, the point that I'm trying to make here is Dallas Dillon, who is also having to be my leader from the Liberty Party. From the beginning of his campaign, he utilized the Ulaa issues of dual citizenship as his platform, as his launching pad falling against. I mean, he was twisting everywhere, here. He tried to justify his resistance to this path until he finds out that the Liberian diaspora adhere and support the dual citizenship. And the fact that he needed some support from this side, he started twisting and turning. Eventually, I'm not too sure if he's quite on board yet, but eventually he started sinking a little bit towards us. And I think if these people wants to recognize that we're not going away and that we will do all we can legally, and instead they will come and make George Weah and the CDC-led government the Buku man. These are the people, and once they turn against this sitting president and start making all kinds of noise and things like that, people are going to believe. But many of us are not stupid. We know what we want. Mm-hmm. So, Mr. President, my advice, whatever it is, because that's not what I do here. My suggestion, I take that back. My suggestion, because I don't advise. My suggestion, Mr. President, is that these people, Mr. So, I'm a liberal. I am very careful what comes out of the liberal's mouth. I don't come here like you and a conservative view, just throw it out there. No, I'm very careful. So if I say something that I know is not sitting well with my liberal view, I try to change it immediately. So please let me speak. Mr. President, I just want to say, if you can get with you and your people to make sure that these senators, many of them who used to stay in this country, many of them have privileges of traveling here and back and forth. I hope you have a serious conversation with them and that they will understand that we're not in this trying to take their job. And that in fact, they should welcome it because that's competition. If I'm smarter than you, which I'm not, then please excuse me. So, Mr. President, I think you're on the right track, and I will appreciate if you continue to go on whatever platform that is willing to take you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. To. I really enjoyed this the comments you've just made, and I want to just punctuate this very clearly to all of the network and diaspora Liberians and even the homeland. This Ulaa leadership is not going to be taken for granted. We will ensure that the interests of Liberians will be satisfied and the conditions that need to be met, we will vigorously pursue that. And I can assure you that, I mean, regardless of all of our disagreements, right? And I usually say this, one of the simplest quote I always make: conflict is an inherent element of organizational growth, individually, family, wherever. So we came to this task to make sure that diaspora Liberians will be happy and will represent it accordingly, even at some point when people don't agree with us. But we will make sure our representation is satisfied. Thank you so much, Mr. To.
So, the liberal, let me just tell you this. All of your kumbaya you are doing here, you are Liberty partisan. You need to, you heard what the president said. You were here blowing the trumpet of Darius Dillon despite his instability of his position. And you want to come here, you want to act like a players game with what you need to call Darius Dillon now. And you can come back here just how you are blowing his trumpet to tell us.
But this is what we're going to say to you, Mr. So. If Liberty Party fight and give you the dual citizenship you want, will you then convince every members of the Liberian diaspora to vote Liberty Party? Will we do that?
We have not reached that point here. I'm just only telling you when we cross the point of
okay. No, I'm trying to advocate for my party. No, on a very serious note, I think, Mr. So, these people
we gotta do. I think the liberal. We gotta go behind the scene and see these people here, these senators, who stand where and where they stand, and put them on record. I think that's something we have to do.
And I think the president has the ability to do that. I mean, I'm just assuming now.
I think that's time to do it now. You see,
yes, I think they have the leadership of
people who against.
Well, I don't think they. I hope I'm right. That I don't think they will approach it in that sense. Who's against and who's for, and what have you. I think one of the best things you can approach this thing here is, first of all, make them feel, and which the right to the full would be, make them feel that they are the part of the process, and not because they're in position, and so therefore they have whatever. You have to have, first of all, the respect for them must be there. They are our leaders. They were elected. They didn't come to this position through the back door. We must understand that, Mr. So. Having said that, we also have to be firm with them. That even though you are our leader, we respect you. But the amount of remittance that come from Liberian diaspora, that's the waving car we have in front of them. You see the amount of money we send you every year because of we getting involved in the Liberian economy. You have people that supposed to perhaps might be in the street demonstrating, disturbing the peace, because we Liberians send in X amount of dollars every year. We're also helping to stabilize this country. And we need for us all to come around as brothers and sisters. And this is what the Kumba here gonna play well with me. I hope they will take that line.
So okay, let me bring Mr. President. Mr. President, are you there?
I'm ready. I'm listening to you. So
let me ask this question, and please be upfront with me. In anything, this is a political issue. I don't care how we twist it to be. Who is the senator now that is championing the cause of this dual citizenship? You have to get somebody within the system to say, I am for I am helping to push this here. Is there anybody? Because we want to get these people here. If you want to disclose that, but there's no secret. so that we will get these people, so we know the hurdles that within that building. Who is championing the cause of this dual citizen in the Senate?
So initially, to admit to you, from the information I've been gathering from the desire of the dual citizenship and all of the other partners, the house, the lower house, was our most hurdle that we had to cross, and we crossed that on November 11th. So the Senate, it was one of our easier path, ensuring that dual citizenship was going to be passed. From our information that we are gathering, majority of the senators want the dual citizenship. All we are requesting is that the president pro tem, Albert Chair, should put.
Mr. President,
I'll come here. Let me finish, sir. Let Albert Chair put that bill on the floor to be debated and approved. And just before I conclude on that, I agree with Mr. To. I said that in my initial remarks that diaspora librarians are contributed enormously economically in every aspect of the lives of Liberians. And of course, remittances is just one. When you take into retrospect, remittances is not just forget even money grant and how you call it, Western Union, but take into consideration the barrels that we send. Or when Alfonso Zia is going to Liberia, I say, get 200 out to my daughter. Or carry this, briefcase for X, Y, and Z. Or carry this medication. When you encompass it, when you encompass that, all of that congregate to a larger remittances to Liberia. So, and there's, as far as the research we conducted, not even the United States, not any other organizations have contributed that kind of enormous amount to Liberia as compared to diaspora Liberians.
So, Mr. President, this is not a liberal commentator here. Let me ask you my question again. Who is the senator that is turning this way? I know what his name, pro tem chair will put it there. But there must be someone within that bellwether who will push it. Who is the senator that has raised their hand, President Shiwoh or the Ulaa or the diaspora community? I am for this year to the dead end. Who is the senator?
So I said to you, some of the things is hard to do a name calling, right? And I watched a couple of your interviews, Mr. So. I don't want to be calling names, but all I'm asking is that first, let me just say this very clearly. As far as I know, from what I've heard from the partners of the dual citizenship, and that includes many other organizations, the guys in the European Union, the guys in Ghana, in Australia, and many other places, we have maximum support. All we asking is the president pro tem.
Yeah.
So what?
Mr. So, this is where you and I usually part company, to be honest with you. Because of your conservative view, you believe that it has to be either red or black. And no. Those of us that are from the liberal side of things, we look at things from a broad perspective. Please don't ask the president to give you a name of who against and who's for. No, it's not even about that. What you think? I think what we need to do here is, because this is going to be negotiation. You don't go to negotiation picking a fight already, Mr. So. Please keep your conservative view out of this dual citizenship. In fact, one of the things that I will ask the people when we get a dual citizenship, people like you will be the name going to be dropped from the dual citizenship. We will not let any kinds of conservative person come out and get a dual citizenship. No, I'm just kidding. On a very serious note, Mr. So, I think the president is giving you all of the information that anybody in a negotiating position would give.
Yeah.
You have to understand, Mr. So, hold on, Mr. So, you have to understand these practices or policy. These are political issues, and so these people, and you know the Liberian politics better. They tend to politicize these kinds of stuff to say, "Oh, you." And let me give you an example. Most likely, I could be wrong, but most likely there are people that are sitting in the Senate tonight or tomorrow will be sitting and say, you know what, I want to support this thing, but they are setting ANC people over there, the 2 million who all ANC and Dr. Baka people, they're not even voting for CDC and all kinds of stuff. Whereas they're supposed to look at this thing based on the interest of the country. They're going to politicize it. So I think let's give this president the room to be able to move around. We shouldn't put a tight road on him here tonight based on our own conservative view on this issue, Mr. So let the president have free will. Let him go and negotiate on our behalf. This is not the time we want him to come out and say who against or who's for. I don't think we've reached that point yet. My view on it. Mr. So, you can shake your head all you want. You know I'm liberal. I am the most liberal
here. We will do our own follow-up. We will talk.
So can I say something, sir?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Mr. President.
Okay. So Mr. To just made a kind of summarize the embodiment of exactly what our position is. We need the support of everybody, every senator. Like I said before, that the fact that the House bill was even passed and it was championed by Akara's Gray. Akara's Gray, that is a major,
this is where we're going to split, because I paused and I thought this was going to go away. Now, the Liberal has come to form.
Can I just complete my thoughts, sir?
Go ahead.
Okay. So where we are today is that the lower house has passed that bill. And we don't want to come to a place where we are pointing fingers, to any particular senators. I mean, remember this, sir. All we are trying to do is that for each of us to play the role that we have to play. You call your senators, county organizations call their senators, individuals who have a rapport with senators, call them as much as possible, send an email, WhatsApp, every other thing that we need to do. That is the request that Ulaa national leadership is making. And I hope that is a resounding,
okay. I don't want to make it controversial, but I'm a guy who can just let it go, because I always want to have that clarity here to my audience, not something to come in here with his shenanigans conversation talking point here. You started off here, which I like. I want to protect Akara's Gray to be Bukume. If he's Bukume on the other side, he's a good guy. I heard you saying Akara Gray championed the passing of that bill in the lower house, correct?
He did.
So meaning my understanding that Ulaa was aggressively working with him, because he came out to say, I'm going to take the bull by the horn and persuade or talk to my colleagues to get this going. Was that the case?
Yeah, he and other partners.
Yeah, but he was he's a torchbearer. So that on the basis of that, that's what I was coming from. If we can have somebody to be the torchbearer from the lower house, do we not have anybody in the upper house? But let's leave that here. Let's go back to this whole town hall meeting that coming. Somebody out there who is a free thinker like me will be pondering here. Do I have to pay money? Will there be a consultation fee? Will there be some fees attached to this here? Because sometimes people don't ask this question here. So this big town hall meeting that coming that has to do with this people and these experts, these people that you're going to be working with, any cost attached to that?
No, there's very no cost. All we are doing is that what I promised the Liberian people when I was running to be a Ulaa national president is that this whole idea that maybe 20 plus years ago, in the early 90s or early 2000, we all were advocating and descending on Washington, D.C., in our state capitals, in our individual states. We did all these things here. Now we are at a place where it's easier to get a green card. So we're encouraging Liberian people to just sign up for that. There's really no cost associated with it. In fact, if there's anything, maybe it will just be the cost that you have to pay, to process your papers to the immigration. But we want that to be done on or before December 20th. So there's no cost associated with it. If there's even anything, Ulaa national leadership is even finding way through a group they call Undocumented Black. So to see if there's a little fees that it can be able to help those people. But we don't want for people to take that for granted and say, you know what, the people will pay my fees. So no fees associated with it. You can come to that, event. And also, sir, I just wanted to further articulate that one of the things we want to keep doing is that the Ulaa national leadership will be assessed through our how you call it, other platform. There will be newsletters, there will be other things that we continue to do. So we're working very, very hard on that. Currently, we have a Facebook page that you can access, Ulaa information and things like that. We really want to come to a point where we are very visible. We are, everything that has to do with Ulaa, whether it's the budget, whether it's the leadership, every other thing. That's what Liberia will drink from that fountain of knowledge.
All right. We want that transparency.
Mr. So I have a question for the president, please, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And Mr. President, I like I said earlier, I really do appreciate you making the round, and I hope that you will make the round all over. But the question that I have is, those of us that have been around for quite a while, we've seen the inner working, so to speak, of Ulaa leadership most of the time. And this is from my own perspective. We have leaders who will come and vice for these positions, leadership position in Ulaa, and pick on a specific topic that will make them visible in terms of Liberian and the Liberian government and what have you. And then, and before the issue is settled, they use that as a springboard to now launch their own political career and what have you back in Liberia. What are your thoughts on that as our leader? Is that something that we should be afraid of on using this wonderful issue here? And then once you become visible in the minds and eyes of many Liberians back home, now you become the go-to guy who then will go home and then get a job before this issue is finished, as many Liberian, Ulaa leadership have done in the past.
What wrong with
one last, Mr. So, please, one last question on this, Mr. President. You have former leaders, Ulaa leaders that went home, work in the government, and they are back here. Are you in constant contact with them in terms of information, inside track information, or what is your position on that with these former leaderships?
Okay, so if I have to respond to the question is in twofold, right? So the first one is taking a job in Liberia. So to be, I'm having a very good sense of the conversation we're having tonight, particularly from you and Mr. So. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a Liberian who is in the diaspora taking a position in Liberia.
Tell him it. Tell him.
I personally, if and I said this to people many years ago before I even came to the United States, if I wanted to take a job with Liberian government, I would have done so, and maybe I would have been at the highest level, right? So I don't have a problem with it. The second question and I think that, but me personally, community service advocacy, trade unionism has been embedded in my gene, in my core. So I've done this even when I didn't even know better, just as an ordinary student from top of my high school. And then I joined the teachers union. When you saw, the Lotto boot and everything else were in the street those days, yeah, we did that. And we met senior government officials. If I wanted to manipulate and just possess myself, I would have done that. So I really don't query people who, any reason. I mean, people are qualified.
You get it.
I mean, the desire to take on positions is their choosing. But I agree with you. To use the path of the Ulaa presidency, like I'm sitting now as president, and go to Liberia and asking George where to give me, position, and the next minute I tell my never grand coming back to Liberia, and I got a position. That is, I see that as a bad judgment call. Also, the second question you ask is that if I'm in touch with other, former leaders, definitely I'm not. If you can be specific, maybe I can answer to your question. But so far, I do a lot of runs, and I'm talking to everybody else, and I talk to all these individuals just to get consultation, to have guidance, in my leadership. Because even if we like them or not, maybe past leaders, and I can call their names, and I will do that so quickly. Wilma Cody, Anthony Kessery, Gisler, Emmanuel Wetty, and many others. The guy I love so much, and Watson, thank you. I love that guy. All these people, incredible leaders. At every given time, sir, I will consult them for guidance. But one of the things I bring to leadership is that when our decision comes, it's going to be Shiwoh Kamara and Shiwoh Kamara only, and nobody else.
Yeah. Look, let me distribute this liberal here. They are the one with other people blowing the trumpet, people looking for a job. Are you not proud? Will you not be a proud Liberian to work for your country? It's not a matter of looking for a job. The authenticity, your honesty, the love of the country that you are taking to work for your country, not to go and squander or to do things. You go there to change history, to get things to work. So you don't want to work for your country. You work here for the state of Sacramento. You bid in their breaches. You bid in their roles. You taking thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And are you saying when the president or when the government calls on you to go build Grand Gilead Road, you will say no? You're looking for a job. Is that what you want to tell me? Of course, President Kamara is qualified to occupy any position. That's a celebration in life. When the government, when his country calls on him to serve, he should go and serve. What matters is the credential, his ability, his honesty, the love of the country, the calling. That's what matters. It's not a matter of he going, why he going to serve. Of course,
Mr. As usual, you missed the mark once again from the liberal.
Why are you creating problem for us?
No, Mr. So I'm just telling you, you missed the mark. The president answered the question beautifully and intellectually. That satisfied my curiosity. And you're gonna come here and talk
about you. It's about the listening.
Mr. So the question was asked, the president answered, and I'm satisfied with it. Can you please let's move on with your next conservative question that you're gonna have, please?
No, the question you asked the president was ridiculous. What are you talking about? The president, you can be a president today when his nation calls him to serve, he should go and serve. That's what I want you to take away. Can't tell me he's looking for a job and he's building his credential. You think he wants to remain in his position? He's not going to be wrong. He doesn't want to be stagnant. Let me leave this liberal here. We will finish and then I will take care of him here. So let's have this here. We have talked. So what's the status of your chapters as we speak? What's the working relationship? How are you solidifying to your great. I mean, it was, after every election, some bitterness takes place, Mr. President, that I know. People, it hard for people to come over. Some people will still be in the back seat there. But what is the relationship with the chapters so far in the 30 few days in your presidency?
Correct. So the fact that we are even positioning ourselves for November 27, 2021, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Is an indication of the body of work that have been brought into this administration. So the National Executive Vice President Minerva Grant has been the force, have been in charge of ensuring that first leg of our 100 days plan, which is the engagement. And that engagement has to do with ensuring, I think I mentioned that in my earlier, comments, bringing back the chapters, together. As I speak to you now, we are doing everything possible. I just sent a letter to North Dakota, chapter. That was a chapter that had elections, and the former president, Mr. Shiwoh Kamara, with a letter to the former administration. No criticism at this point, sir, but they were not recognized. So we just sent them that letter and, to welcome them to the union. Also, the Michigan chapter, the national vice president are being conservative, dialogue with them. So that letter is ready to go, and they are ready to come back to the union. Then, as I said, Arizona wants to join the union. There's a new chapter in Virginia want to join the union. Even in my own chapter here, there's still work to be done, right? And then, of course, even your own chapter, Rhode Island, we still, have to engage, Rhode Island. Trenton, which is a central New Jersey. There's a lot of body of work also going on to ensure that they can return to the union and their relationship is repaired so that they can have, camaraderie and oneness, to return to the union. So if from everything that we've done, of course, I got to report this to you. Jacksonville, Florida, is ready to come, to be one of the first chapters from Florida to come to the union. So the state of affairs of the union is good. It's very good in terms of the engagement and everything else. Very quickly, I want to go over this. So one of the things that I did express as part of my administration, requisite and the thing that we needed to complete was, reviewing Ulaa policies and procedures. So the current financial secretary, along with his czar that we have, Dr. Will Jala, and the Eastern Region Vice President are looking at all the Ulaa policies and things like that. The third leg of our 100-day plan is that the Secretary General is responsible for rebranding the Ulaa. For example, the testimony that you have been tonight on the public radio, that I'm being grilled and asked questions, by these very two distinguished individuals, Mr. Tu and yourself, is a characteristic of exactly where the union is. And we want to continue to do that. I want to come to a point where, just say this, I've been attending, I was in NAO, association is one of the 3 districts in Grand County.
Yeah.
Beatrice Swain is president. I was there. Former eminent Gessler was part of that. Yes, I'm going to be attending another another inauguration.
You got better to go.
Say that?
I say you get plenty of Creole myself, Boku to go.
No, I'm gonna tell you, but I have the temperament for that. So the 4th of December, the San Country Association of Delaware Valley is going to be hosting the inaugural, Reverend, Tobo Murray is going to be inaugurated, and then on 11th of December we're going to Connecticut. So we're very engaged in making sure that we bring back the union together.
I love that. Bring the union together. We are gradually winding down here. Okay. One of the problems that Liberian organization, Mr. President, and that of course are fragmented. And by the way, your vice president, she saw how she began, but the engagement is already there because the texting and stuff like that. Even just for us to get this going, I must give the credit to her. I worked with her on the Ulaa commission, and believe me, when we go on the teleconference, she was a cheerleader. She stood like a cheerleader. No man can bully her. She intimidation, forget it. You're gonna bounce back. Complete bulletproof in herself. But one of the problems in the Liberian organization is transparency, accountability. Frenchman Lajan Jaffe, our leaders, not all, but most of them, they are not transparent. They don't create the accountability pillars for the people to feel at ease, to be relaxed. When it comes to making financial report, they put an iron jacket. I take the job here. Nobody are going to pay. Yes, you took the job. Nobody also put a salary on the deck to say you're going to get paid, and you knew it, you took it. So these are all community initiatives. Liberians, yes, some give, some don't give, but people are also tired because we have leaders in organizations, in group, that are so skillful when it comes to telling the people how the finances are spent. And it is unfair when we sit here and poke in the eyes of national government, national leaders of being dishonest, and we have organizations on our own feet that can also don't have an open financial record. You got to go through a bureaucratic system to see a common report, for example, after program. So, and I know you are aware. I know you. I know the institutions you come from. And we talk on these things here before, and that was the tape I was playing. How are you going to get this done differently? When report is needed quarterly, that your financial team, I know we are human beings, things happen, but at the end of the day, they will take responsibility and they will make sure that report is done. That is very cardinal to me.
Thank you. So I want to begin and to respond to your question by saying this. I've come a long way. One of the things that I've cherished so far in my body of work and what I do is that you have to have an evidence. You have to have an information for what happened yesterday in order to inform your decision today. It has to be evidence-based. I believe in that so much. So in this administration, when I talk to you about reviewing Ulaa policies and procedures, one of the things that we're reviewing is the financial policy of Ulaa. And it's not associated or condemning or criticizing any administration, but just to be able to point towards and say, this has worked, it was proven right, and you need to continue. So besides the $1,000 when we had the induction, and I'm going to say it publicly, when we had the induction of President Fofana, reported around $10,000. The church in which we had, which is the church of the national executive, current national executive vice president, Minerva Grant, that pastor in that church said to me, Mr. President, I hope you bear with me though, I'll go around a little bit. He said, Mr. President, I know you'll be spending money that you don't have. Everybody coming to you. They donated $1,000 to Ulaa. Thereafter, we were able to pay some other, outstanding issues from the previous administration. But, Mr. So, right now, my administration, the only other expenditure that I have been able to do had to be approved by the board of directors. I sent to them a temporary budget that runs up to December 31st of 2005. Out of that amount, there's something $600 spent on dual citizenship. Today, $25 was spent on some promotion. But just to summarize the question you asked me, we will be transparent to the core of the issue because it's one of the things that we promise the Liberian people. And I can say this to you, the thing that I have, Dr. Wejala, Basi, and even myself, we believe in it. We believe in it, and we will come to this forum over and again. The only thing I can say to Liberian people is that if don't sit on the fence, if you don't contribute to anything, you can be asking questions as to how the finances are spent. Go to your local chapters, be a member of the local chapters, spend some money, in it, then you ask questions.
Believe me, the lab brother and I agree. Bamboo going to divide out right now. And these are some of the things when I talk. How the heck if people in Susu, you don't put Susu then divide.
Exactly so.
Then you go get.
Yeah.
This is the kind of behavior of the laborer.
Yeah.
This is the kind of behavior of the
laborer. And Mr. President,
there we go.
I think you guys have gotten your stay with me on a beautiful bridge. Perhaps the water is about ready to tap.
No, I'm not criticizing you, Mr. To. I think you are a very great guy. I'm not criticizing you, sir.
No, I understand that. No, it's not about me. I'm getting ready now to throw my liberal voice in this.
Yeah, we go.
In this, because for you, Mr. President, and I like that. First of all, let me say
I want to give my money to you.
Mr. So, please, the liberal is talking. Mr. President, first thing is this. I give it to you. And when I heard you explaining, to be honest with you, until you came up with this on whatever center right
analogy.
Yeah, about you don't pay, you don't talk. That's a little bit. It's not sitting well with me. Let me be honest with you. It's not sitting well with my liberal view. But however, until that time, what I thought was happening when you were talking and thing that was going through my mind, I was still voicing it out, is that I see you as being one of the type of leader we once had in Grand Association in the name of Willow Nyano. When Mr. Nyano came into the Grand Association, I was one of those who has helped to mess it up. Because we were the radicals, to be honest with you, and because we believe that certain things should be, but it was a wartime anyway. But I'm not going to go into detail here, but when Mr. Nyano came in, one of the things he said and one of the things that he carried out was transparency, and exactly the point you made here about having evidence to say what is good, what have we done in the past that is good. Let's keep it. What we have done in the past that is not, let's try to replace it or let's reform it. And I think with that standing, I think you will be the next leader that will bring this union together in full. And I think you will have many young people, if you carry out like that, many young people will gravitate towards the leadership. However, the last statement you made, that only those that pay into the union corps have the right to ask questions. I think that's not what I would suggest. That's not what I would do, because the union, you say union, you didn't say money union. This is not susu. This is a union of the people from Liberia, the diaspora.
Yeah.
Even what happened if I'm not working? And I used to be member of the union, and I used to put money in there.
You know what?
Mr. So, please. And because I'm not putting money in there right now, therefore I have no voice. Mr. President, are you trying to disenfranchise the people of the Republic of Liberia that are diaspora, that are living in the diaspora? Mr. President,
can I provide some clarity, please?
Will have the opportunity to talk to you? Are you not getting some sort of a class system in Ulaa, Mr. President?
No, can I provide some clarity, please?
Wow.
Yeah, please.
Go ahead, Mr. President. Go ahead.
Right. So this is what it is, right? The family, first of all, let me just start from the basic unit of society, which is the family, right? You got membership, and their core values. You have roles and responsibilities that each of us contribute. Then you move on to the community. All I'm saying here is that when we have this community organization, Mr. To, it's a membership base. It's a membership base. You come, you register, and some people deprive themselves of even their basic necessities. And they come and contribute to that membership organization. Not only that they deprive themselves financially, but they even, like what we're doing here today, you, myself, and the listening audience will be here for a little bit. For none of us here, I haven't gotten any penny. I'm sure any of you have not gotten any penny for what we're doing here. But what we're trying to do is to make sure that we prepare a narrative that Liberian people can understand, that in a generation, you always have individuals who can prepare a process to get all of us, to believe again in our organization. So all I was saying is that, I'm not saying don't criticize, but don't stay far away. When they call you, you don't participate. When they invite you, you don't pay dues. They struggle behind you, you got nothing to offer, but you, the person, always asking questions. That's the point I was making, sir.
Look, I am not here to give this guy peanut butter and jelly. He's all grown up. The man, a crown man, 100% crown man. Only pound butter, he understands. Look, if you eat an organization, that's not every American vote. You must be a citizen and registered voter. Something to. Let me just tell you right now. If you either, they have very son, no contribution, no drink. If you think you just want for people to give you oatmeal every morning and you can't get it, you are not amputated.
I am glad, Mr. So, that the Ulaa has not opened their door for you for any kinds of leadership. And I'm glad that you will not be taking any kinds of leadership in Ulaa.
Ulaa did. I serve as the election commission. We follow the laws on the book. We conduct a free and fair election. It was stabilized. But you're trying to inject into this conversation just how to spoil things here. Why would you not even want, when you're a member of the organization, why you don't want to pay your fair share?
But did you listen? So the fact that, so what happened if I was paying before?
What happened? You're not paying now.
Yeah, what happened? Did that mean I have no more voice?
No, what happened? You're not paying now. That's what I want to know.
That's not your business. That's not your business. Why not paying now? That's not your business.
You're not the financial report. Why you never? If you not get bank account,
so all I can say to the president is that I will encourage the president to take a different look at this, because not everybody have the means of contributing the way they're supposed to. Mr. So, it's better to have people are willing to associate themselves with a group, and in that group setting, in that group setting, if these kinds of kind of rules are coming to play, that people are saying, "Oh, if you're not no contribution, no drink," Mr. So this is not a
No, gentlemen,
wrapping
gentlemen, let me just say this, right? And I hear you, Mr. Tour. I really get the point. So really, we would not dismember anybody from asking questions about Ulaa leadership or participating in any chapter, events. And I think it's just fair enough, So as an organ that is filed once his, CT status, we want to ask, people can come anytime and ask questions for the organization. So we're not going to restrict in any way possible. So if this is how you understood it, that was not the intent of my
let me, Mr. President, I understand it, but let me give you this other ridiculous situation that happened in Total years ago.
Oh my
Speaking about money, there was a guy that went after somebody else's wife, and back home, when you do those kinds of stuff, when you go to court, they only charge you $10 for the affair. So the guy come out, he said, "Okay, yes, man, $10 for the affair. Yes, another $10 for next affair, and yes, another one for the next time." So, Mr. President, if Samson Toe is willing, because I like to engage, I want to ask you as many questions as well. So if I come here and pay 2-3 years worth of due, whatever it is, am I allowed to ask as many questions as I can?
Your delinquent dues, pay it. Then when we get to that place, we're going to call it.
See what I'm doing?
So I mean, that's it. Look, honestly, if we want, that's part of the problem that we have, and people just do not want to be honest with it. You can be part of an organization, and this is a problem some of us we have even within our Grand Leader community and other places. You're part of an organization. Ulaa is a union organization, but there are institutions that makes up the union for it to become union. You not pay your due. Your man died, then you say the person give you 500. So the person that paid their due when their man died, they gave them the same 500. Does that make sense? It doesn't. We can't run institution like that. That's the kind of liberal idea.
So Jeremy, I don't want to leave from here.
Yeah, we got
and mind you, now I'm working with the Liberian people in the diaspora, and everybody is listening to this very widely viewed, platform. So I just wanted to clarify to say, so most of the chapters that are members of union of Ulaa are actually membership based, right? So they have their own standards, they have their own practices and things like that. But at the same time, I think it's fair enough for diaspora librarian, for anybody else, to inquire about how Ulaa is functioning. As president of this union, I would not restrict, any individual or any member from anywhere else. However, we always go back to, the standards and procedures of, members, membership. But I will not restrict anyone from asking any further question. And I think that's the job I signed up for, and I'm obligated to it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So before we let you go here, Mr. President, it was a quite quickly. Is Ulaa records are public records?
Those are one of the things we're reviewing. I don't know yet. I mean, most of that Ulaa is chapter based membership. So when I spoke about this, I spoke about the second leg of what we're trying to do, reviewing the policies and everything else. That's exactly where we're trying to punctuate.
Is that yes or no to my question?
I think it's true. I don't want to give you a direct answer, sir, until I can really come, to have clarity of exactly what it is. But hold on. Let me say this. Hold on, sir. But I know that we have the website. There are information on there about what Ulaa is doing. You can find press releases and things, which we actually just building. We're building a website that is representative of diaspora organization. Mind you, this is a miniature of Liberian government, This is a miniature of Liberia in the diaspora. So we're trying to build a website that is truly representative of that.
Mr. President.
So that public information you're asking for, my hope, Mr. So, is that
Okay.
let me finish my thought. At some point, people will know that if budget is passed, it's placed on the website. But that's something that we have to really talk about, because there's another structure of Ulaa which has to do with the board of directors and even my own administration.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting a tweet here from one of the guy who led your campaign.
Okay.
Venice. Yes, Ulaa record. So like the cat is eating your own baby.
No, Mr. So.
No, he's not. He's not.
So, not by all means. We should, at this time, applaud this president, this public figure that will stand in public to say, I don't know. I'm going to look into it. Mr. So, you have to accept and respect that. Anyone that will be in the public eyes and say, and be truthful to himself and to the audience, to say, I don't know, Mr. President. I've never, to be honest with you, I've never seen that from any of these political, even here in the diaspora. Some of the fly-by-night organization leadership, they never come out and be truthful like this. There's one other person I can say that acted the way you acted here, and that was Jefferson Kochi, that came on Liberia Public Radio and said Liberia has so many challenges. So I applaud you for that, and I respect you for that, and I say thank you very much.
So, gentlemen, I'm really enjoying the conversation, Mr. Can I say this? And I like that. Thank you for the commendation. So what I was saying was that, I have a team that I'm working with, and most of these guys are financial experts. So I really don't want to make a declarative statement, that they may not approve. Also, I have another organ, which is the board of directors of the union. Mind you, all of these things that we're doing, we're still trying to just ensure that we're on the right course.
All right, Mr. President, we want to thank you so much. Something to us. He's my fellow, he's my fellow cardinal, and I know the productivity who cardinals are.
He's a cardinal? Wait a minute.
Talk about me. This mayor, this liberal, you're not a cardinal. If how do you call it? Well, I saying what? Where school?
The most beautiful high school in Liberia, Wilson High, right there on Benson and Center Street.
Yeah, good guy. So he's my fellow cardinal here. So there are commonalities here. Mr. President, I want to thank the only cardinal that is a disaster is Wilson Tappe, Professor Tappe, who put the layer on the map up, and we don't know what the WLP layer is, but that's a different thing. President Kamara, I want to thank you so much for your time here this evening. We hope to get this done. And the reason I'm asking this here, we need to kind of like set ourselves apart. If we are to hold national government accountable, national leaders accountable, we must show some evidence. And Ulaa being the mother organization, hopefully these local organizations can emulate. For example, budget, we can discuss it. Financial records, that will also encourage people who are holding back, because there are other people too who have been giving, and people are not telling them anything. Right. When they go ask questions, they smash them down like they are in a wrestling ring. He has something told here. He telling us now he not been paying due for the last 4 or 5 years. So he attaching a condition. If I pay due, you need to pay first, then you can get a stuff. Mr. President, I want to thank you so much for your time this evening here. I don't hesitate to let us know here anything you want us to do to enhance, as long as the conversation is genuine, it's authentic, it's in the interest. You're not going to ask me what sort of questions you're going to bring. Questions going to be developed based on the conversation that we can have. So for us here, it's not about entertainment. It's strictly about information sharing, for people to learn, for people's mind to be reformed. This entertainment thing here has kind of jumped into the media world within this time that is so involving, it becomes a challenge to the real media industry. But I want to thank you so much. Please let us know anytime, any hour, and any public information you want to get out there to let us know. What's your closing remark?
Yeah, my closing remarks is that I really want to salute you and Mr. Toh. You guys are one of the best journalists. You know,
Man. What is that? Man, who does 4K?
No, you guys are one of the best journalists I ever seen. I mean, you're so invested in what you do. And also, I just want to say, Liberia Public Radio hosted a debate, including me and my, brother Frank Carter, and then later on, another piece. And we promised to come here. We love you guys so much. You've done a distinguished job, and you scrutinize your guests so well. And I think, I always hear you say, we got to hold public, officials accountable. I hear you say that all the time. So I'm looking forward to a time where Ulaa president or officials will come, so that we provide a narrative. We don't want people telling the story for us, right? In what we're doing, because there's a lot of things that we are doing and some that people don't know. So I just want to emphasize the event this weekend, which is the 27th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I hope your guests are listening. And there's other issues, the policies issues and things like that. We have an incredible team. But so far, so good. And thank you so much for, welcoming my vice president. That is somebody that I love so much. Manuel Grant is, I couldn't have had anybody.
Working like that.
Yeah, I couldn't have had anybody, better as a vice presidential candidate and the rest of the team. And Don Dennis is an advisor. So you can see how the president is on the show. An advisor comes and say, "Yeah, you don't think it's a public."
Yeah, I can pretty say there are a lot of goofies around you, but don't allow them to put you in the bubbles.
No, they're not going to put me in the bubbles. So Ulaa is on the path for a good organization and help us with it. Dual citizenship is very core to our heart and everything else. And Mr. Toh, I just want to say thank you so much.
Oh,
Toh,
well, this guy though. When is the inauguration? Quickly, Mr. President.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for asking me. The inauguration is March 26, 2022. It's going to be held in Philadelphia here.
Oh, all right. Well, it's within my proximity. Let's keep up posted. Hopefully, I will be back from Liberia at that time. So we will have to make it kind of President Shiwoh Kamara is the chief executive of the Union of Liberian Associations Ulaa based here in the USA. President Kamara, thank you so much. And now in too far future, we hope to have you here or other members.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay. All right, folks, we're going to continue. All right, we are getting the official date of the inaugurations of the new Court of Officers of the Union to March. Let me see here. There's a tweet coming here. Let me just see here. Save the date. March 25th, 2022 inaugural ball.
Mr. So, before we go to the line, if at all you're going to go to the line, let me make a few points here about the president. My observation that is, I think the president, quite frankly, has done some wonderful thing here tonight to be that truthful. And he's not. It seemed to me, I don't know him, but it seemed to me this man does not miss his word, and he's not somebody that you can push around very easily.
To miss his word.
But Mr. Soul, did you listen to this? Did you listen to him? Even as much as I tried to push it, he wasn't backing down, and he didn't soften his voice on that either, which is okay. If you don't pay, you shouldn't. I understand that. But one of the things that I took out of there, and I thought it was very funny. Good thing the election is over, because if this was some sort of a campaign, and I'm on the other side, I would love it when he said that Ulaa somehow like a clone of that of the government of Liberia, or the Commerce Council of that of the government of Liberia. Then I say to him and the Ulaa people, do we want George Weah to be another mini cousin of George Weah here to lead Ulaa? Is that what we want? Do we want Samuel Twe and Natera McGill to lead?
You're trying to factor politics into
Mr.
this.
So I'm just saying, the man, he told us, the president told us.
You are trying to reconstruct the president's message.
Mr. So, the fact that he's from Tottenham House does not negate that. Don't come here and trying to defend his position. I'm saying to you, he said that. He said Ulaa is like the small part of, it's just like the small government of the Republic of Liberia. And my question to you then would be, if that is the case, do we want Dr. Weah to be?
You miss it big time. Where Charles Taylor was not a member of Ulaa.
That was before that. That was before that. But at this time, do we want Samuel Twe, Nathaniel McGill, and Jefferson Koshi, and Dr. Weah to come and be the leader, to take leadership of Ulaa?
Why you try to single out people? Why Samuel Twe? Why George Weah? Why are these people alone? Why you can't?
These are people that I will unseat. These are people that I will unseat come 2023, Mr.
You don't even know the year. I'm a Francois and sort of the Liberia Public Radio. Okay, something spotted out this yesterday in Liberia. So we're going to have a quick talking point here, and we're going to get to it. Let's see here. Let's watch this here.
So the situation here was actually tense this morning, but it has subsided, where we can confirm 2 persons.
Okay, the Liberal.
Yes.
Let me just pause this here. This was an incident that occurred yesterday in the nation's capital, outside of Monrovia, a suburb of Douala, where the LNP, the Liberian National Police, engaged a group, from what we are hearing, armed robbers or people in possessions of illegal arms. There are a lot of conversations all around the talking. People are bringing out the LNP, what they did, to what they didn't do, and all of that. I have my own version. Look, if Liberia is to be transformed, we must have a firm security forces that will be able to take charge to restore law and order. Yesterday morning, before I got a text from one of our followers, my daughter also, she sent a message, and she was crying. I believe I shared that with you. She attends St. Mary's School. It's right within the proximity, and will lock down for almost a whole day, and that they have to call in the parents to come before they can even get out of that place. But we're hearing shooting all over the place. I'm like, what's going on? Shooting? And then I began to see this video footage by one of our followers. This is what is unfolding. And the police went in. But I think to some extent, even though we yet to know the detail, but the response of the police was timely. And I listened to the hold on 1 second. After the response of the police was timely, I listened to the live feed I report from Fabric, and the journalist clearly stated these people were the first to fire at the police. I am saying Fabric TV. I'm not sure whether you listened to that. They were the first to fire.
Mr. Soul. I'm going to take a different view on this here, to be honest with you. I'm not in support of any armed robbery going around harming poor Liberians. But if we're going to move this country to the next level, we must have a security apparatus that will be willing to engage, not necessarily to take life. You have here in this country, you have other countries where people go and shoot at police. And even if the police have the opportunity, most of the time, yes, they shoot back. But most of the time, they try to disarm the person or try to do whatever it is that they can to bring this person to justice, Mr. So this is not the first time we saw the last time. I think what 4 or 5 armed robbers that were killed. Now these people, once they're dead, there's no defense. They don't have any kinds of reasoning. You think whatever, and you know, in this country, the police are always in the habit of trying to fabricate stories. So police everywhere, they do that to justify their action, and that's why you have to have citizens to question. Thank you for what you did, but is it necessary? Is it necessary to have another human being killed? Is it necessary? Was there any other means that you could have used, any kinds of force that you could have used to neutralize this person? Is this the only result that you can come up with? The citizens themselves need to ask these type of questions. By you asking does not mean you have no trust in the police. We thank the police. We appreciate the police because they're helping to save Liberia. But every time they engage armed robbers, Mr. So, many times the armed robber is not there to speak for themselves. If you can employ any other means for them to go to court and let them explain.
So,
Joyce, why did they what they did?
So, what are you talking about here? Are you saying people fire at the police, the law enforcer? There was an alarm. We yet to know the details, but I did send a tweet yesterday. That's not the first time. That's not the second time. Armed robbers went to my daughter's place. Those people carry Mercedes to the extent that today they could have been like, and yesterday sent a text.
I understand. Understand the sentiment. I understand the
sentiment. I'm just being really realistic here. And they went there and I listened to him. But let's see here. This video here, I was watching it, is a snapshot. This is the police officer with courtesy, with professionalism, like the American police. Look, this is not a politics here. We got to call it as it is. You see the police, this is the guy, these are some of the people that supposedly fire at the police. The police went in the swamp to rescue. That image you see here. Did you see?
That's what I'm talking about. This is what's supposed to be happening.
And that's what happened.
This is good.
Okay,
this is good.
But you also don't want to mention that even the police officer that were in pursuit of those individuals that are going in that swamp, that policeman could have been gunned down. Do you know that? And
I understand that. I understand everything you're saying. But that doesn't mean what I'm saying here, Mr. So.
People fire at the police and
Mr. So, that's the job. That comes in lines of the job.
Let me tell you.
That was first of all
accepted. If you want Liberty Party to take Liberia, where we're going to
Mr. So, please take partisan parliament. What I'm saying to you, Mr. So, what I'm saying to you, and this is what you and I were not agreed on many things on this kind of stuff. What I'm saying to you, the police were being shot at. I understand that. They have to defend themselves. I understand that. But the end result is that the only means necessary for them.
Of course. Look,
what do you mean, of course? How do you know that? How do you know that?
Let me just tell you, in your Sacramento, right now, around your facility, if there was any incursion here with gunfire, when police come, that whole freaking place is going to be sealed up. And
exactly.
I can tell
but
you.
But they don't just, because somebody is shooting at them, and therefore the gun's going to go and get. No,
wherever the fire came from, if I'm in studio here and police and there's a gun sign within this facility, and the gun sign, if the police officer or the group out there perceive that the firing is coming from in this building, of course they will return fire.
Mr. So, you know, this is very sad. This is very sad because of your conservative view.
No, this is not a conservative.
No, seriously.
Okay, this is what we need to do. You want the police, you want armed robbers to take over that country.
No, nobody wants armed robbers to take anything. But because of your conservative idea, it has obscured your vision of transparency. What I'm saying to you, the police has the right to defend themselves. They have the right to defend themselves. However, to have the person who now they're dead, how are they going to defend themselves? No way. Whatever statement that's going to come out now is going to be based on the police statement. And my point that I'm making here, I'm not saying that they fault, they are the fault. No. But is this the only result, that the only outcome that this thing would have resulted in? Is this the only outcome, or was there some other means they could have utilized? That is the question that I'm asking.
What's the other means?
Mr. So I don't know that. I wasn't there. No, but my point is they must have other means to engage other than that body or nobody coming out.
Well, I can tell you, almost got killed, I can remember. And I will not call the person name. We were coming from a couple of years ago, coming from Philadelphia, driving just before we could get to Rhode Island. This guy, I was just telling him, you need to slow down. I know the state trooper always on the bridge here, they always observe speed limit and all of that. It didn't even get out of my mouth. The next thing, the guy, he jumped from under that bridge and he was behind us. We pulled over. The countryman, he almost killed us on our street. He want to get down to pee. And the guy there, he used his bullhorn. Do not get down. And the man said, I said, look, if you rather die, just wait when I'm out of this place, you die. I'm not going to die for stupidness. When police pull you over, and when even here, you know, for example, when police even stop you just ordinarily in the traffic, you need to come clean. If for any reason you position yourself as if you put your hand is on the back and taking it off, you know what happens? You become the victim. I am only saying, listen, I'm just only saying, we also have responsibility. These laws enforcer, in as much we have our differences with national government, this and that, I understand when it comes to some of their policies and stuff like that. I understand. This speaks to the value and the challenges that country that is faced with. Your politician, those people that you support, if they will begin to have a conversation where there can be a good budget allocated for the security apparatus to equip them to combat crime in the country, I think that would be a fair thing as well.
I agree with you. I agree with everything
you're not agreeing with me.
No, I agree with you.
No, you're
my
not.
Point, my disagreement,
for you to
not necessarily disagreement.
At the police, and you say there can be any other thing. People fire at the police using machine guns, and they're taking a tactical retreat in the swamp.
Mr. So, the question, my hesitation in total agreement with you is this: is the end result we got? Is that's the only end result that perhaps are available to the police?
If again, then let me just say the definitive. I'm not speaking for the police. I'm speaking for based on what I saw on the live field. Those individuals that were gunned down, if that those are the people that fire at the police have the right to defend and protect.
I understand that.
That's what I'm saying.
The question that I'm asking, you're not answering it.
What's the question?
The end result that we all got and we all saw.
What's the end result?
The death of the two, or how many people that got killed?
Who are those that died?
The armed robbers.
Are they armed robbers?
Armed robber that was shooting at the police.
If the armed robbers
allegedly, because we don't know, they were never found guilty of that.
That's what happened.
That's what I'm saying. They were never found guilty. They were never found guilty. So that these are allegations. These are allegations the police are making. People shooting at us. People shooting at us. So let's
you didn't watch the footage?
No, Mr. So you're not listening. You're not with me because of your conservative view that obscure your vision on this. You can't see it.
You want to play politics into this thing here.
It has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with transparency. It has to do with fairness.
And you know, one of the things, I'm a very strong critic. I always frown on the government when it does what I wrong. But the very first thing yesterday, and I sent a tweet out on that. One, that incident took place within a shorter time frame. There was some sort of press briefing. That also reassured the citizenry, at least to get a sense of what has unfolded. As unlike usually.
Yeah, but in a press briefing, Mr. So, you will agree with me. In that press briefing, you will agree with me. It was only one version, and that is the version from the police. Agree?
So that's a preliminary.
Agree? No. You see, I
don't even know which version. So who you wanted to? Where the other?
No, Mr. So, you agree? You agree? The version was the version from the police. You agree?
So who's supposed to report to the nation when those things happen? Who should do that?
No, they would. I'm saying it again. They were in their right to do whatever it is that they want. My reservation here and the question that I keep asking, the end result we got.
It doesn't matter.
That's the only result that was available to the police.
I can tell you, it doesn't matter. When you in a car crash,
it doesn't matter. He says.
I'm telling you the fact. We have to get that country to get on the. Look, that nonsense, the armed robber is out of. If Charles Taylor was a president in our country, I tell you, in 1 week time, it will seize down. That I can show.
Mr. You have the law. You have the law in the country. This is not the men. This is not the country run only by men. This is the country that runs by law. This law must be protected, and they must preserve. They must be preserved for all of us. The question that I keep asking, you're not answering. You evading the question.
No, because
the question that I'm asking is this: the end result we have. Was that the only end result that was available to the police?
End result in gunfire. Why were you in gunfire? The end result. Somebody got to be the victim. Somebody got to be the victor.
Okay, let me be ridiculous. Let me be ridiculous a little bit. Well, first of all, was any policeman got shot?
Of course, you didn't listen to the report. Police got shot, and the police were taken to the hospital. You didn't listen.
Okay, now.
Or you want policemen to be killed,
right? Mr. So, have you also heard something what we call friendly fire?
I'm not a policeman.
You see, this is Mr. So, you cannot come to this position
when you come
that's why the liberal, as a liberal, not that I'm against the police. Let me make that clear again. But you have to approach this thing from a broad perspective. First of all, the stories that was being told, that's being aired out, is based on the version of the police, number one. Second, the police said they got shot. Fine, and there's evidence to show that they were shot. Fine. The bullet that they got from it, how sure are we? Has it been published that these bullets were from friendly fire or somewhere else? These are the kinds of questions Liberians need to ask. That's what I'm saying. And the main question again to you, Mr. So, the result we got, was that the only result available to the police? That's all I want to know.
You're being very, very, very biased in your stuff here. And but I'm not surprised anyway, the liberal. That's how you liberal always turn your wheel. But I can tell you, if Liberia is to be a safe haven, you have group of people that are terrorizing the country, innocent citizens.
Mr. So, first thing is this, and let me be ridiculous on it. How did we get there? How did we get there?
Who put you there?
The armed robbery stuff, was that something that's always happening in Liberia from the time you were born up to the time you left?
Oh, it can be contained because
it can be contained, but in order for you to do that, the drastic action that you and your conservative view have is for you to suspend the Constitution. You cannot have the Constitution and go about executing criminals. That's not what it's supposed to be. If there's other means for the criminal to be brought to justice, you do so.
Are you never witnessed if there's a gunfire between law enforcers here to the extent when a push cut a shot, they put some highways in the air to go after those criminals?
I agree. But however,
when they have the capacity to capture them, they will capture them. If not,
and that's the question that I ask. That's the question that I'm asking.
I will tell you. The police does not have the capacity at that point in time where they are retreated.
So the only capacity they have, according to you now, the only capacity they have is neutralizing them by having them killed.
They die in, what I can say for sure, they die in crossfire.
They die in crossfire.
If you fire at me, I fire at you.
Mr. So, you're missing the point. You are not a trained. You are not a trained law enforcement. Number one. And second, if somebody attacks you, you have the right to defend yourself in one way and one way only, because you have no other means.
Go Liberia, and you see these people here. How we got here? How we got? That's tons of questions. Yombi Kanga, Lauren, George, we are.
Oh my goodness.
Helen Johnson, Sally.
Oh my goodness. There we go. We're gonna go all the way back to.
That's the question. That's the purpose of your question. I'm just only telling you. This speaks to the volume that all our lawmakers, those going on Facebook, conducting classes, this and that. I never saw the last time Jack Reed or David Cicilline. Yeah, the budget coming. You're all the 1050 political parties. Not a single opposition or their finance or their economic policy will take that budget now and begin to scrutinize it to get us to be where we are. Nobody.
Mr. So, it seems like you're in the mood to vent tonight. It seems like you're in a mood to vent tonight. And the fact that you want to vent tonight,
I'm sick and tired with your petty.
You
politics.
cannot be sick and tired in a country that have rules and laws. You have to expect these kinds of things to happen in a society.
Will be followed. So yeah, it's the deal. By this time, we have a budget up. If this opposition, if they really mean well for the country, like you are.
Yeah, we go. Now you're gonna try to leave from the Empire State Building with no parachute whatsoever. Now you expect to be saved when you hit the ground. How are you going to link from leaving from the conversation of a police engaging armed robber, killing the armed robber? Now you're going to come out to CPP. How's that going to help you?
CP, I'm talking about opposite. There's a connection here. The reason we have the police there it is the same lawmaker, because they do not see the reason to even argue to also to make sure, regardless of their party affiliation, to make sure the police is more equipped to combat this thing. Now, when somebody is being armed robbed, when they call the police and the police can't go there because we lack of logistics, we complain, right? But yeah, we have this lawmaker ration thousands of dollars to themselves. They sit down on Facebook.
Oh, Mr. So,
they don't sit down with their opponents. But
you're really dragging this conversation to the next level that it doesn't belong
in. And see where they can find common grounds, where they're going to identify wasteful spending, and look at Liberia is a post-war country. You don't know that country that went through war for 15 years? You think it's going to be an overnight event for us to have this thing stabilized? Look, this is why the National Rehabilitation Center, there are many reasons.
So now you're arguing. You're arguing now, Mr. So you're arguing the fact that the police. You're arguing now. You're arguing now the fact that the police are poorly trained or poorly whatever. And so they have a justification now to do what they did. Is that your argument?
That's not. I'm just telling you there are factors that are responsible.
I understand that.
You're not understanding.
Why will you even say that? You see, this is some of the things. You're gonna tell the liberal that he doesn't understand. Now you're gonna go. Not only are you not a criminologist, now you're not only a lawyer. Now you're also a medical doctor going into my hair and telling me that I don't understand.
Let me just tell you. This is some of the disrespect they do to our. People, we got to be very careful. We went down this route before. They started from let's say around those time. AFL walking, I know there was some crazy thing AFL did. Predominantly, they were in a crime, but there are other group of people who were also part of the AFL. But what the people they are coming? They were successful in their propaganda to blend or to do the name calling of AFL as though. That's what they're trying to do now. They took it from Helen Johnson Sally, is George Weah. That's not George Weah police. The police should be the national police. It's a security, so it should be depoliticized. All opposition, imposition, people, they should do everything possibly they can to make sure the police is functional. You have policemen wearing one uniform from Monday to Tuesday. Do you think that is fair? And you have their lawmakers, the right 50, 60,000, the Russian money.
Mr. So
and your
argument,
but these
your connection right now, your connection is faulty. Your connection to both subject matter is faulty. To be honest with you, the fact that so said the lawmakers are corrupt, does that justify the police behaving the way they did?
No, but
is that your argument?
The police terminate responded to other citizens called that there was an armed robbers, and it was reported live that these people were the first to fire at the police. And you expect the police to wave white handkerchief to become
no. Let's get back to that again. And this is the central question that I have that I keep asking. The end result. Let me say this again. The end result, which of course satisfies many of the community dwellers, fine. But it's the law enforcement, the law agency, the police, was that the only end result available to them at that particular moment? If so, can they come out and defend that? That's what I'm saying. They should be accountable to the people. Not because there's an armed robbery that were trying to kill Samson Toe and you killed them, that means you're no longer accountable to the people. Far from it. They should be accountable to the citizenry itself, because they are also human beings like any other person. And many of the time here in the United States, you've seen and you heard police fabricating statements to put people in jail, and people have served 15, 20, 30, 40 years in jail for crime they did not commit based on the police report.
Okay. You see, now
I'm going to say to you, you want freedom. Fine. You want freedom. You want the law to be there in the country to carry out anything. Fine. The way the law is supposed to function is that transparency should be at the top of it. So if you're coming out and you say you're law enforcement and you go and do the community a favor by getting rid of a few people or certain people that were the menace in the community, killing people or what have you, these people, even if they kill people, they still have rights. The fact that they commit crimes until they are found guilty by competent jurisdiction.
So,
so let me finish this. Until they are found guilty by competent jurisdiction, they cannot, and you should not go around saying that they have no right. They should be eliminated. No. They are human beings like any other person.
I didn't say that they have no right. They will only defend themselves when they found life. But the fact of the matter that they were the first, according to the reporter, to pull.
They can be the second, the third. It doesn't
matter.
What
you expected the police to do in that event when somebody busts?
If the police have other means,
what other means?
The police,
means?
They have. I don't know.
You don't.
But they were trained. These are trained. I hope. Because Liberian people pay for the training.
You said
Liberian people pay for the training.
Yeah, they wasn't trained. Look, guys, we got to be honest here. We got to be
Mr. So I am being very serious.
If you sit down in your house there and somebody busts through there your door and your wife and children, you're sitting down there and you say you're gonna.
No. If I have the means, you come in my house, bust my door, you're dead. There's no question asked.
So why they can't be there when they fire at the police?
Mr. So let me explain it to you. I'm Samson Toe. I don't have the training that the police have. Number one. Second, it's my house. But if I was to join the police, first of all, the community pay for my being part of the police. They will pay for my training. And part of that training is to de-escalate. Part of that training is to find other solutions other than to take life.
You also
I'm trying to help you out.
The last resort?
Taking life should be the last resort. Only if all other option has been exhausted.
Okay. Yeah, but we can arguably say that was the only option because the police has gone.
Now you're speaking with gas. Now you're putting fire. You're putting gas on the fire. Now you're speaking with real.
we got, you know, this whole the way you ought to do there on the opposition bending in Liberia is sick.
This has nothing to do
Yeah,
with opposition.
you are taking the opposition tone
You're
right
telling
now.
me now that yes, now you're saying to me, having been pushed for over 30 minutes, now you're saying to me, yes, that was the only option available to the police. Then the next question is, the next question to you now is this. From the liberal side tonight, the next question to you, since you have arrived at this solution, that yes, this is the only option available to the police, can you now enumerate other options that were employed by the police and fail, for which they have to resort to this last option, which is to take life? Can you tell us now, Mr. So?
Yeah, it's simple. Is when there is a report, or when there is a gunfire, or where there's an incident where the police go in there, the essence of the presence of the police or law enforcers is to stabilize the situation. So the very first thing you do is to wave your, I don't know how long, I don't know. You don't even want to acknowledge this picture here where you see the law enforcer, people that
I am already employed at the police.
No,
you're not applying.
You're not applying. You're doing a piecemeal here. That these people fire to automatic rifles and fire at the law enforcers, people who are wearing their blue, the country representing the country. All right, and the firing at them. You expect them to do what? Firing, taking a retreat and firing. Even the live video, I was trying to find the video, but we're still going to have this conversation here because, but I can for sure tell you, this speaks to the value that it is time for us to put the interests of the country first. It is time both branches.
Not through your conservative way. We the liberal will resist. The liberal will resist your conservative ideas, trying to manipulate the system in Liberia to come your way. We're not going to do that.
All right, the executive branch of government, the judicial branch of government, the legislative branch, it is time for them to take a second thought to review these people's budget, increase the size of the policing, not just only in Monrovia, but the country. Make sure the police is equipped to be spontaneous, to combat crime in the country. We can have a lawless country. We can have a, I tell you what, I was in Abidjan, right? They're saying mandatory act. That's what they are doing now. Why you think I played a video here, the demolitions of Bunuburaki, and you know what the Ghanaians are saying? It is Liberians and Nigerians. Their criminal activities, armed robbery. Does that mean they are the only people? So we are getting to be known. Something has to be done. I was coming from Day Plateau, or how do you call this, church, Day Plateau. Those guys took off my clothes, took a shoe. Somebody got knife to your throat. You think if I had a mean to fight by it, you think I'm going to allow it? And you telling me here people are firing at law enforcers? If they were good people, they should have surrendered. Even at that, the people who fired the police went in.
Mr. So, with all your renting and stuff going all around this boomba, whatever it is you're calling it, I just don't agree with you.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say.
All right.
Every argument you're making, is fine. But my point is this. Even if these people were so brutal and they were so ruthless in their engagement to the citizenry, that does not negate that they also have rights. My point is this. They must find me, the police, the law enforcement must find me that these people should answer to the law and not to the execution.
Well, yeah, the other ones that is arrested were learned from the report they were taken to a hospital immediately. So the very first thing that was done was to make sure the safety of that individual, that person will be treated, and from there I assume that person will go to court. But all the other ones that were involved in the exchange of fire, believe me or not, where there's exchange of gunfire coming from opposite direction, somebody got to be the victim and somebody got to be the victor. And I will not condone anybody in this country, out of this country, in Liberia, that for any reason you would take arm and fire at law enforcer.
I don't accept that either. I am not encouraging that. My point is this: they don't have the right. There is no reason for you to shoot at the police.
So then why they fire at the police?
I'm saying that was bad on their part.
Okay,
That was not I'm not
accepting
accepting it.
Both ways here. You try to
no, Mr. So I'm not getting it both ways. I'm saying to you, listen again. I'm saying to you, what these people did, the armed robber, what they did, those are allegations as far as I'm concerned, anyhow. But if it is true that they truly fired at the police, that was wrong and that is unacceptable. However, the police are not your ordinary citizen. These are trained law enforcement officers that's supposed to deal with these kinds of situations daily, not just out of a sudden.
Okay.
And so the fact, Mr. Sir, I'm talking now, the fact that they were trained and they've been trained to deal with this, they must have other means.
And I told you, you're not listening because of your liberal idea. You're not listening. That was that I can for sure say that was the last resort of the police. Yeah, that's simple as it is.
Okay, I accept it. Then the question to you now, if you're going to say that was the last result, because you have to go in a series of sections in order to come to the last. The question to you now, Mr. So, what was the other option that were employed? And if those options were indeed employed, they fail. What caused them to fail? That these people are now going to go to the last result. Do you see where I'm going with this thing?
I don't see nowhere you're going total, and I'm not going total with you. You don't understand the intensity of what was going on. You didn't understand when my daughter sent me a text that they had to lock down. They are sealed them up, and they were telling them.
I understand that. My son, his wife, and his kid. They were
not in Ulaa. My daughter goes to St. Mary's School. It happens in the proximity. And at the leg and the children and people were crying. Nobody know what are these armed robbers who have gone there and massacre and do any other thing because they were at the crossroad. And you telling me here the police should become ECMO when people they are.
Here we go. Now you're going to call the police ECMO
to wave their white flag. Again, I am not going to condone anybody or any individual, not even my brother, who would put on any kind of hostile defense against laws enforcer. I don't do it here, and I don't expect them to do it.
Nobody's defending that.
Yeah, so
you're missing the point.
Yeah,
you're missing the point.
You're not even getting that point. You're not getting that point. But we got to come to an end. I believe I'm going to bring you back here, and maybe we're going to have a group of people. We need to have a conversation.
Look at some of the comments. Look at some of the comments these people are making.
Well, yeah, because these people, they are your partisan. It's not a matter of who to be. They are your partisan. I understand. That's why you are so attracted to the Facebook feed now, because you're seeking public. I know the label. You're watching
Mr. So.
Let me see where Mr. Kamara say, "Oh, Mr. So is now winning this debate." Okay, you're taking. Look. On a serious note, before we go here, we have serious challenges ahead. This speaks to the value of our politicians to be a little bit cautious of making sure our security apparatus is equipped. It's more serious. I'm telling you, this is not going to go away. It's not going to be an overnight event. The country, people were not properly demobilized. I assume the arms were not really taken away. Situation I have, so these people doing broad day, they take things from people. I mean, it's everywhere we see people doing here, but to the extent now that people broad day, that thing, it happened like 7 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine? But unfortunately, it happens the way it happened. But when people when they go at the police to fire at police, the repercussion can be heavy. There was an incident here, and one patrol car comes in, and they found out that the opposite side volume to fire or resistance is heavy. You know what they're going to do? They're going to call for backup, and that backup could probably be an anti-terrorist group that will come to subdue that place and do it. It is what it is. If we are to get that country right, people, criminals, those who don't want to do any other thing, and that goes to the lawmaker. There are things they can do. They need to make sure the rehabilitation commission is well rehabilitated. Let it be the government facility. The Liberal Progressive, I want to thank you so much for your time this evening here. And
Thank you.
by God's willing, same time, same station, we're going to be back. I know you're going to sleep the car this evening because you're not talk plenty, right?
No. I try to enlighten the audience, and let me make this point here before you close, please. Mr. So, hold on 1 minute before you close. Let me make this point clear. I am not here supporting the armed robbery. I am not here supporting anyone taking arm against the law enforcement officer, because these brothers and sisters that are the law enforcement officer, they're keeping the peace and they have the right to defend themselves. I'm just pointing out some of the weaknesses that are seen to be coming out of that. So thank you very much.
What we need to do, what we need to do, for those of you on this view here, Kamara, not to really call your name, I mean your conversation, you can disagree with her, that's cool. Kamara Venetius is our prime-time valuable listener. Propo, maybe we can have ordinary people too. You let us know, send us your email, you can inbox me, you can call my number, send message to my number, and we can have this conversation. Maybe it could have been done differently, but I want us to take that conversation for us to really discuss about Liberia, because I don't want people to take it with this party that there are a lot of challenges we are facing in the country. And the issue of this, you want to go say you even scared. If I show you a message here, people in house now, they are just living in fear. You remember something too? We were on the phone.
We were on the phone having conversation when our lady called.
The call screaming that people were banking, forcing her door.
Yeah.
You were
going over her roof, going through her roof to enter. Yeah, I remember that.
So if I were in that house,
no, definitely you're gonna have to. But you are different.
If you are in our house, you forfeit your life. You can't.
Yeah, you are a different person. You only know one way and one way only, and that is to defend yourself. But those who are trained, they have different ideas.
Washington, Kamara, I think, please, my number, the one number you can send it back. Let me put the number out before we go here quick. We need to get your take on it 1 year for. Oh, something to make me not forget a number. Something to where LPR number.
Let me. You forgot it?
8802. Because that's what happened when you're an old man. You're trying to do something.
I'm kind of shocked for you to call a 45-year-old old man.
So, gentlemen, this is a LPR help number. If you can send a text, you can save that number. You can send a text to that number. If you think you want us to have this conversation in different, it doesn't matter which position you take, but I just want us to have an honest conversation and have.
Are these people you're inviting? Are they going to be a video conversation?
No, yeah, when it comes, it will be on video. We'll do
okay,
that.
so you're saying you're going to invite them. You're going to invite them to join you through video conversation.
Yeah.
What are the rules? Anybody can call you while they're laying down in bed, or what do you expect?
No, that don't come for. You see, that's how your labor can behave. You don't give people opportunity. Let them make their declaration first. Then we'll put the rule over.
No, but you see, this is what that sounds like
Donald
Trump. That sounds like Donald Trump to me.
People now not to be in bed.
No. That's not. You tell them out front. You tell them out front what you expect.
That's not how you negotiate. That's not how you arrange.
Okay, here we go. The man who are telling the Ulaa president, the man what telling the Ulaa president, no contribution, no drink. Okay, Mr. So I think we've done a wonderful job tonight. Thank you very much. You've been out of this thing here for a very long time tonight. Thank you, and say good night to you then.
All right, folks, that's how we're going to do it here this evening. Every good thing must come to our end. We want to thank all our viewers and listeners across the globe, wherever you are. I'm Alfonso Z and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio, 10 Lpr-Tv. Thank you so much. This is a very consequential and hardcore conversation, but we need to have that conversation about we got to put the interests of the country first and see where all of these issues, where are they coming from and how it can be resolved. Your views, your opinion, you can disagree with me. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. You don't necessarily have to agree, but it's civility that maintained on this network is highly, highly appreciated, and that's what we want to do. Until then, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow, Venetia and Fofana, I guess Washington, I guess your turkey is already been baked there. Just save a piece for me. You can send it through my LPR number, and I can have a piece of your Thanksgiving. Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.